Morning, everyone. First off, apologies for the lack of videos. I've been so busy. What a lovely day. I've got the aircon on. It's like 17 degrees. Beautiful Friday. Anyway, not a whole lot really this week. I know we've had the Tyson Fury, Alexander Usyk presser. I know we've got Jack Catterall against Regis Prograis this Saturday. Excuse me. But there's only one place to start for me this morning, and that is I just watched. Sorry, I got to stop shouting. I get a bit animated. I just watched an interview on Boxing King Media with Umar interviewing Alexander Usyk, and if there's anything that fucking pisses me off more, or I find more embarrassing, and Umar is king at this on Boxing King Media. He's interviewing Alexander Usyk, and I'm assuming Umar's from maybe Pakistani or Bangladeshi sort of descent or heritage. That's sort of his accent. I'm guessing, I might be wrong, but from around the area. But as Steve McLaren did years ago as England manager, don't put on a attempted Ukrainian twang to your presentation in order to make yourself more understandable to Alexander Usyk. Alexander Usyk's an intelligent fucking guy, and he uses an interpreter as well to aid him with more sort of complicated pieces of English that he might not grasp. But you end up sounding like fucking Borat. Stop it. It's unacceptable and embarrassing. Oh, man. Sorry, but fuck me. It's just go and listen to it. Go and listen to yourself. The first sort of 4 or 5 minutes are fucking laughable. I had to get one out of the way first. Sorry, it's fucking embarrassing. It's just funny. I mean, it's funny, but not for the wrong reasons. All right, I got that out of the way. We'll move on. Jack Catterall versus Regis Prograis. This isn't going to be very long. I see this very much like Bivol Beterbiev, in the sense that now in the Bivol Beterbiev fight, and if you go back to Josh Taylor against Jack Catterall too, you very much kind of had Josh Taylor walking Jack Catterall down, and when Jack Catterall stood and traded and they punched with each other and exchanged, Jack Catterall looked the better. He was the faster, the sharper, and landed the more punches in the exchanges. He just came out on top. He won the exchanges. He was more pinpoint, he was faster, and he landed more. The same thing happened with Beterbiev against Bivol. You had Beterbiev walking Bivol down, Bivol boxing really smartly, brilliantly, but in the exchanges you had the aggressor and sort of the boxer. So you had the sort of puncher versus the box puncher, and the box puncher in the exchanges was better. Bivol was better in the exchanges against Beterbiev. When they punched with each other, Bivol was more eye-catching, he landed more punches, he was quicker and he was sharper. And this is what I see, this is how I think sort of Catterall Prograis will play out. I think Prograis will try and walk him down, being the puncher. I don't think he can outbox Jack Catterall. I think Jack Catterall will look to outbox Regis Prograis. I think he'll do it for the most part going backwards. And again, as I said against Bivol Beterbiev, not running, just boxing going backwards and using lateral movement. And I think when they do exchange, and I think when he punches with Prograis in sort of limited bursts, he will exchange with Prograis at times, because being the back foot boxer, you know, the pure boxer, you do have to stand and trade at times. You do have to lay something down. You know, you can't just be completely almost submissive to the pressure. You've got to lay down a marker at some point. Sometimes you have to stand and fight, just to put it in that attacking fighter's mind that, you know, you've got to be mindful when you're walking me down. And this is what Bivol did, and this is what Jack Catterall did against Josh Taylor. And I think that's how it'll play out. I think we'll see a fight, in my opinion, that's all this is, that we'll see Regis Prograis trying to walk Jack down, and I think Jack will be boxing smartly on the back foot, going sideways, and I think at times when he'll elect to sort of stand in trade, I think his exchanges and his bursts when he punches with Regis would be the more sharper. He will probably land more punches. They'll be the more eye-catching. Probably they'll carry less power, but they'll be more eye-catching in the same way that Bivol did against Beterbiev. So that's how I see that fight playing out. I think, I really like Regis Prograis as a guy. I think he's really real. I like listening to him. I think he's a decent man. I think he's a good man. I like him. But I do think his best days are gone, and I don't think Jack's are. I think Jack is still there, or maybe Jack can even climb to another level. So I picked Jack Catterall on points, and I kind of see it playing out very much like Bivol v Beterbiev. I may be wrong, but that's how I see that. Should be entertaining nonetheless. Both good fighters, both really good fighters. So yeah, good. So yeah, I picked Jack Catterall. Just to be clear, Jack Catterall on points for me. So we had the press conference. It is, when you watch Fury in this press conference, and listen, I'm not a massive fan of Tyson Fury, the man, as I see, through past experience of things he's done and said and his actions. But I always leave that aside when it comes to looking at fights and stuff like that. I can separate my emotional opinion from my objective one. But it is interesting to see the marked difference in the way Tyson's attitude comes across as he's been humbled by that first defeat, because gone is the bucktooth rabbit middleweight and all that sort of stuff. Gone is the ugly gap tooth, maggot and all that sausage. That's all gone, and now we have a lot more grounded sort of Tyson. Some of the stuff he still says kind of doesn't make sense, but some of the stuff I've seen him say in interviews this week has made a lot of sense, and I can't argue with a lot of it. And as a few people have pointed out, and I agree, had it not been for that 9th round, Joey Knight done a fantastic video this week on covering the press conference and the fight. Joey Knight Boxing. Go over and check that out. Joey Knight's a fantastic young guy. He boxes on a lot of Misfit stuff, but he makes really good videos. So go check them out. But he's done a really good video on this. But yeah, so Tyson, there's a marked difference in his attitude, isn't there? And his approach. And there wasn't really a lot to report from the press conference in terms of dramatic stuff, but there are a lot of sort of small, sort of almost subliminal things, marked changes. Usyk turning up as in the Hitman outfit, suiting him really well, doesn't it? And he's obviously putting out a message there, isn't he? And it's interesting that both of them say, when asked what are they going to do different this time, they both say nothing really. They're both going to do the same thing. Tyson's going to come in heavier. I do think this time around a lot of the pressure is off Tyson Fury now, because most people are expecting Usyk to win. I think on balance, I think the majority would pick an Usyk win. I'm not 100% convinced. Usyk for me is not an nailed-on favourite in this rematch, and this is me not being a fan of Tyson Fury the man, but I appreciate him as a fighter. Anyone who thinks Usyk won that easily is misguided and doesn't know what they're looking at. That was almost as hard a fight for Usyk as it was for Fury. In fact, for 6 or 7 rounds, Fury was having an easy night. That's fact. And then for the second half of the fight, when he got nailed and then got lit up in round 9 hurt badly, that swung the fight. But it was a closer fight than people remember it, because of the success that Usyk had in round 9 was so dramatic and so emphatic. It sits in the memory as being Fury getting battered. We'll know for half of that fight, and for 3 or 4 rounds, Fury was lighting Usyk up. So, any sort of things where Tyson might have thought believed his own hype, surrounded himself with yes men, thinking I've only got to turn up to win. That's now gone. He now knows that's not a thing. On the other hand, Usyk now knows he can beat Tyson Fury. He doesn't just believe it, he knows it, and now he's done it. But the pressure's off Fury. He's never let himself down in a rematch. So I think this is great. I think this is closer than a lot of people think. You would obviously lean towards Usyk, having won already, having beaten the man already, and now already having a blueprint. But by no means do I write Fury off. And any of you lot who followed me from the start, you know I'm not a Fury fanboy at all, anything but I don't write him off in this fight. Tyson Fury can win this fight. He is good enough to win this fight. Whether he can produce that, whether that sort of level has gone, is yet to be seen. And as we know, Usyk can definitely win this fight. He's done it already. But I think it's great. But yeah, the marked change in Fury is. There's a few interviews this week. I don't know if you've seen. There's a few interviews with Shane Fury and Andy Lee, and the questions were sort of put to me in the interview I saw. I can't remember what channel I saw it on, but they were talking about the corner work in the fast fight and all the different information from Sugar Hill to Andy Lee to John Fury. And Andy Lee was sort of saying, sticking up for John Fury and defending him, and saying no, what he was saying was correct. So Andy Lee was being politically correct about the corner work and about John Fury and about the stuff John Fury was saying, while Shane Fury, and credit to Shane Fury, sort of said basically that, yeah, my dad's advice, wasn't probably technically the correct advice, but you have to remember my dad's advice, whilst not being technically correct, is coming from a point of it's a father to son advice, and so you can understand, and that doesn't make it right, but he was admitting that yes, what John Fury was telling him wasn't right from a technical point of view, but it's a dad and a son, and so he wasn't making excuses for it or trying to legitimize it. He was just explaining, you have to understand this is a dad, but I think that's what a lot of people forget. John Fury was over animated, saying the wrong things, giving the wrong advice, but it's a dad, isn't it? It's a dad talking to his son at the end of the day, and he shouldn't have been in the corner, but and it was wrong, and it didn't work, and there was conflicting advice. But it was great that, and credit again to Shane Fury. Like I said, I'm a Fury lover, but credit to Shane Fury for admitting it and holding their hands up and saying, yeah, shouldn't have been the advice he was given, but father and son, just explaining why, but not trying to defend it. So that was credit to Shane Fury. So yeah, fair play to him. But yeah, anyway, that was just a quick video just to say those things. Umar, fucking behave yourself. Stop it, because I can't deal with that anymore. It's painful to watch. So yeah, hope you all have a good weekend, and I'll see you all soon.